Okay. Coming at you live from the Del Taco parking lot. I had another quick idea for a video, very short little story. I'll label this one story time. For me, writing songs was always easier if I made them about a true story. There's a guy sitting in his car next to me watching me. Whatever, I'm going to keep going. Yellow Corvette or Camaro. I've written songs before that are fictional or made up. There's a song that I have on Spotify and YouTube right now called The Black Lights. That was a song that I did that is not based on anything real. It is just a made up song about two people going on a date and driving recklessly in a car and dying. I don't know where the idea came from. Usually fictional stuff like that isn't my thing, but that one just came out of me one time. When I released my first EP in a long time last year, in 2025, the songs that were on that were based on true stories. And they were about people that I knew. It's easier for me to write songs about true stories, and usually those true stories are about people that I knew at some point in my life. So this is this one's about a song called The Boxer. It's a really funny and, quite honestly, a really sad story. All the more reason to write a song about it. I had wanted to write a song about this person for a long time, but I couldn't find a place to start. I didn't know what to write about. I didn't know if I should make it 100% true or if I should throw some embellishments in there. And by the end of it, finished writing the lyrics, it was mostly true and then like very, very few embellishments out throughout. But it is a true story. This is a real person that I knew. And basically this happened 10 years ago when I was 19, right around the time I started playing live. When I was a teenager, I started working for a family business. My dad was in the design and construction industry he did swimming pools and general contractor, did concrete work, water fountains, water features, pools and spas. And he would design and build pools, and then I was the pool guy. He had a separate business where I was, he had two businesses, and they were all family-owned and operated, self-built, blue-collar family. And I was working for my dad as pool boy. So I had a small little pool route that I did when I was in college. I was going to college part-time, working part-time, playing music. And when I was 19, I serviced a pool for this man who was an interesting guy. He was home most of the time. Most people have jobs, and this is pre-COVID, so people weren't really working from home too much yet. But this guy was home a lot because the line of work he was in, he would take good amounts of time off of work. He'd be gone for a couple months working on jobs. He was in the entertainment industry, LA. I worked for a lot of people in the entertainment industry, and this guy would be home for a few months at a time, no work, and then be gone for a few months at a time, and it was always very inconsistent. And but when he was home for a while, and I was there every Friday. I had a smaller pool route back then, and in the summertime, I would do his pool on a Friday afternoon. I saved his was the last of the day, and usually 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm finishing up. I showed up to his place. He had this long driveway, and I would park in the driveway and walk down, and he'd be hanging out in the garage, and the garage would be open. The garage was like his man cave, like the hangout spot. He had a TV in there. He'd watch sports. He had a punching bag somewhere in the corner for boxing, and he was a manly man's man, not compensating for anything. This dude was gay, closeted gay for sure. And as an openly bisexual man myself, it's really sad to see that happen. You can laugh, and it is kind of funny, but truth be told, it is really, really sad because this guy got married to a woman and had a kid with her. And he would talk to me every week. It's almost like he was waiting for me. When he was home for months at a time, he would be hanging out in the garage waiting for me. And then I'd go into the backyard and start cleaning the pool and checking up on things, making notes of what needed repair, like really simple stuff. And he would always, if he was home when I got there, he stopped what he was doing and he would come outside and talk with me. And, I'm a 19-year-old me wearing my flip flops and my I would cut off the sleeves on my tee. I was like really tan, and I was just doing my thing, living life, working, going to school, and we would talk about life stuff. I just thought he was a nice guy. I was a really naive kid. I thought he was just a cool dude who wanted to just shoot the shit. And I had done that with a lot of people that I worked for, so I didn't really question any of it with him. But over time, I could tell he got a little comfortable. And he started asking me questions and like making comments and things where at the time, I didn't think too much of it, or I would just write it off. I'm like, oh, whatever, like probably didn't mean anything. But now, later in life, knowing what I know now and having experiences with other men, I can definitely look at that and go, oh my God, he was like putting feelers out there, you know? And this is just such a crazy story. This is so weird, and it's so uncommon that I thought, you know what, for a long time I was like, I need to write a song about this. This is just too juicy. It's too funny, right? It's very sad, yes, but you got to learn to find the humor in things. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. That this guy was like not being so subtle. At the time, I just went right over my head. I'm a young, naive, like teenager. And I worked for him for a few years. So he had known me from the time I was 18 or 19 till early 20s. I had been working for him for a good bit by the time I was 19. So when it came time last year, I started writing songs again. I thought, okay, where do I even start? What do I do? Well, I just sat down and I started writing a list of notes, and all I did was just write down quotes and things that he said to me over time. In the song, if you listen to the song now, the things that he said to me, he literally, like beat for beat, he said those things to me. And at the time, like I just, well, whatever. He would invite me to sit in the garage when I'm done cleaning the pool, and he's like, come on, sit down for 5 minutes, have a beer. He was giving me alcohol when I was younger, and like me, I'm like Brendan Fraser in that movie where he's the gardener for Ian McKellen. I forget the name of that movie. What is it? Monsters and Men. I was like the Brendan Fraser gardener boy. It was just like, oh, I made a new friend. Oh, he's cool. He talks to me like an adult. I had no idea what was going on, and yeah, he would like give me Miller Lite or Coors Light, and like I would have one, and he would have sports on the TV, and he'd have it turned up really loud. He's like, don't worry, my wife isn't here. It's like, what? That was the one thing he said where I go, huh? And so this song, I tried to, it was a chord progression a really simple 3-chord progression that I came up with. I had done it without a capo, and then I started messing around with it, putting a capo on the 2nd fret and doing the same chord progression but different voicings of it. And I did a combination of the two when I recorded this song. I did electric and acoustic guitar, one with a capo, one without. So they're playing the same chords, but everything sounds a little different. I'm very happy with the way that song came out when I recorded it. And I only embellished, I think there's 1 or 2 quotes in that entire song that he didn't actually say to me, but he said something like very close to it. And when you're writing songs, or writing anything, when you're making any kind of art, if it's based on a true story, it does help to embellish things slightly. But I want it to be as accurate as possible. I've made songs that are totally fictional. I've made songs that are completely real, no embellishments, and then I've done stuff in between. So this was like 75-80% real, maybe 20% embellishments. And it was just really funny. And I had told people this story a couple of times over the years, and I remember I mentioned to another creative friend of mine, I go, you know what, like I think I want to write a song about this. He goes, you definitely should. It's just too funny. Some of the things that he said to me, it's like, oh my God, this is hilarious, you know? But at the same time, he was harmless. He was a harmless guy, but I think that some of the things he said to me looking back were very inappropriate for a grown man in his 50s. Okay, he was old enough to be my father, and he was, you know, when I had gotten my first girlfriend at the time, because I worked for him for a few years, and when I had started dating her, he would like ask about her a lot. Uh, yeah, and give me advice about like, don't get her pregnant, don't have kids, they ruin your life, and like almost venting to me in a way about like regrets of his life, like he would say like, man, my wife, oh God, I can't stand her, like I can't stand her, ha ha ha, like that old thing. But it wasn't funny. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's this one thing. I go back and forth between mixed feelings about this situation, but I'm proud with how the song came out, and now it's immortalized and it's out there for everyone to listen to. And I like the if you haven't heard the song, you can listen to it here on YouTube, or you can look up my name on Spotify. I think I have links to everything in my YouTube account, and you can listen to it free of charge. So that's just one story. That's just one person. I'll do story time about other things in my life, music related, or other people in my life, stories that relate to being a performing musician, but stories that also relate to recording. So if that's something you may or may not be interested in, stay tuned. I'll have more stories in the future about the making of certain songs that I've done, if I feel like they're worth talking about, because some of these people were really cool. It was a cool job when I was younger, and I met a lot of different people. I worked for people in a lot of different industries. I learned a lot about life. Being a pool guy was an isolating job. You work alone, and if you don't see anyone when you're there servicing the pool, most people are at work, or they just don't come out and talk to you at all. They're inside doing whatnot. So it was hard for me to make friends. It was hard for me to socialize. And the few times that I did socialize was with these people, and some of them were freaks. So it's strangers. I'm there every week, but some of them were strangers and freaks. It's like anyone who may be watching this who's played a video game called Grand Theft Auto. There are a series of missions and like levels, if you will, in those games, where on the little mini map of all these places you can go, there's little question marks, there's little dots around the map, and there are little icons that you go and visit, and that's where you start this interaction. And those missions are called Strangers and Freaks. And that's really how it was for some of these people that I worked for. Some people were really cool and I made friends. Some people were really weird, like this guy, the boxer. And some people were very sad characters. That type of job, I got to see how people lived. And it really opened my eyes as a young kid to the different lifestyles and issues that people have. And it helped my worldview. It expanded, how I saw, different ways of living. I got to see how some people were total slobs and like didn't take care of their houses or their yards or anything, and then other people who were like super anal and wanted everything perfect to a T. People were it was a very mixed bag. And that made for great material for writing songs. So this was just one of them. If you thought that was interesting, check back later. I have songs about other people I met, other friends I made. Some of them are pretty sad stories. Those made the most interesting songs. It was very therapeutic for me when I started writing songs, because the thing that I latched onto easier was just writing about my trauma. I got attached to some of these people for sure. When I stopped working for my dad, some people that I used to work for when I was working for him, years later, they reached out to me, and this guy, the boxer, was one of them. But some people had, you know, gone through the ringer with other pool guys and they wanted to reach back out to me. And that was a very nice, validating feeling that they were happy enough with that. And they appreciated the connection enough to reach out again. And these were great people, and I ended up working for them again. This guy, the boxer, I did not start working for again. He was very weird, made me very uncomfortable. And I look back now and I can laugh, but at the same time, I learned how to recognize inappropriate behavior, especially between young and older people. It's a very common thing where the older guy is creeping on younger women. But I didn't, I felt, it was kind of one of the reasons I really wanted to make a song about him, is because I don't feel like it gets talked about enough, is older men preying on younger men too. It happens. It happened to me. Maybe it's happened to you. I don't know. But if that is something that you've experienced in those uncomfortable situations, I experienced stuff like that several times, not just with him. I had older men in other scenarios and other places come on to me in ways that were very inappropriate. And that needs to be talked about. I'm not afraid to talk about it because it's real. That was my experience. And that makes for a very authentic, honest song or piece of art, which is why I wrote it. And I keep things anonymous. I don't use real names. I have a song called Mary. It's about a woman who I used to work for. That is not her real name. I changed her name. So I always keep things anonymous to protect people's identities, but I think it's important that we talk about these people. So that was, one person that I used to work for. Uh, I will probably write more songs in the future about other people I've worked for, other sad stories, other funny stories. This one's a bit of a mix of funny and sad. So, if you ever had any trouble writing anything, not just songs, but just writing in general, finding things in your life that are true and real and your experiences, if you can write about those, I think you should. You don't necessarily need to show anyone or share, but you can embellish as much as you want, or you can not embellish at all. If you're worried about it coming back to you, change people's names, use a pseudonym, don't put stuff under your real name. My name it's a stage name. It is my real name, but it's my middle name. It's not I don't put that out there for everyone to see. So plus James is an easier name to understand when you're in a crowded bar and people are like, "What's your Instagram?" So it's the right thing to do if you're going to write about real experiences and real people and things that are true. Unless you don't give a shit, then go crazy. Do so at your own risk. I don't recommend doing that. I take no responsibility for that. I wanted to cover my own ass and make things anonymous. Plus the like the mystery of it. It's kind of funny that you have to leave people wondering a little bit. And I haven't heard from this guy in many, many years. I'm sure he's probably living in the same spot. He's probably in the same industry, living here in Los Angeles in the entertainment industry. It's a very small world. There's a lot of people in it, but for the most part, everyone knows everyone or knows people who are similar. And, I'm sure that there's a good chance I might run into him again in the future. But, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, that was my story. I kind of rambled a little bit longer than I wanted to, but these things happen. I like sharing my experiences and talking about things that I think are important, especially the writing process. I'll talk more about my writing process in other videos. It was different for each song that I've done, and even unreleased stuff that I have. I've changed the process over time. And I landed in a spot where I like mostly true with a little bit of embellishment. But the embellishment is only, at least in the song that I wrote called The Boxer, the embellishment is only some quotes that he said, but all the events were real. And, I guess I'll leave the closing thought with this, is that truth is sometimes stranger than fiction. You can't make this stuff up. It was a reality. It was something I lived. It's a story I have forever, and now I have multiple ways of telling it. I can tell the story on here in a video. I can tell people word of mouth in person, or or you can listen to the song. But it's always interesting to me the process of people and how they write songs. And for me, at least at the moment, writing them about real experiences was the quickest and most rewarding way to do that. So try that out. Maybe it'll work for you, or maybe if you just like consuming and listening to that stuff, that's great too. If you've been consuming and listening for this long and you made it to the end of the video, thank you. Stay tuned for other videos in the future, other stories. I won't always tell stories about songs that I've written, but I will tell stories about my experiences gigging, things that I've learned, and maybe that kind of stuff could be valuable to you. So subscribe if you feel like it, and stick around for the next one. I would love to see you there, but either way, if you've listened to this one, thank you very much, and have a good rest of your day wherever you are in the world.